We are experiencing the impacts of human-induced climate change locally, where we are right here in the Chesapeake Bay region of Maryland. But climate change is a global ecological challenge that impacts every part of the planet and every person on it. Pollution from fossil fuels like carbon dioxide and methane have warmed the planet to the point of drastically changing weather patterns and disrupting people's day-to-day existence.
Climate change destroys lives and livelihoods. Sea level rise alone could cost the United States $180 billion in economic losses by the end of the century.
Due to man-made global warming, sea levels have risen 8 inches in the last century. In the last 2 decades, that number has nearly doubled.
Man-made climate change means that almost 30 million acres of farmland per year are being lost to drought and desertification.
Human-made climate change caused by greenhouse gas emissions is real and happening now. If global climate temperatures continue to rise at the current rate, by the year 2100, the planet will be too hot to sustain the habitats upon which humans rely for life. The 2 most potent greenhouse gases people are dumping into the atmosphere are carbon dioxide and methane. Methane from organic waste is the more potent of the 2. The U.S. alone produces 133 billion tons of food waste every year, while 48 million people go hungry. If food waste could be represented as its own country, it would be the 3rd biggest greenhouse gas emitter, behind only the U.S. and China.
Hey guys, so do you know where your food waste goes? So do you know what happens when it's in the trash?
Does someone take it to the landfill?
Most food waste ends up at the dump, where it creates 23% of methane emissions, a greenhouse gas 25 times worse than CO2.
Organic waste, like food waste that ends up in a landfill, significantly impacts the environment. Pollution leaches into groundwater and waterways, and methane and carbon escape into the atmosphere, perpetuating climate change.
As a boarding and day school, West Nottingham Academy serves 3 meals a day, 7 days a week.
I have been at WNA since the mid-90s, and when I first started we had food trays, and people would get lots of plates of food, and we never gave it a thought on where the food was going. So no, I did not know where my food waste was going, nor did I think about taking extra to sample something and throw it away.
These are my seniors in Student Environmental Council. They're going out into the world. They're leaving West Nottingham Academy with what I hope is an environmental ethic that's deep in their hearts. It's not just something they think about, it's a way that they live.
The ethic behind our program is the idea that nothing ever goes away. We live right now in a straight line system. We create trash and we throw it in the garbage and we think it disappears, but it doesn't. It goes in the ocean, it goes in the landfill, it goes in the atmosphere. When I talk to the students at WNA about what can we do, what are we going to do that has a huge impact, getting rid of trash, reducing it, And figuring out how to reuse was going to make the biggest difference to us in our little community here. Through my life, I've had the privilege to work with Native people, Indigenous people, and I always think of the Haudenosaunee and their idea that whatever we do, whatever decision we make, goes forward into the next 7 generations. We don't want to leave these kids with a planet full of trash. We don't want to destroy the atmosphere that our grandkids need to breathe. So the idea of diverting our food waste, of closing that loop, of taking our trash, making it energy and having it come back to us as good food, that was a natural. We can do it here, and we can do it in every local community. And we have to, for our kids.
At WNA, we knew we had to do something about our food waste rather than just throw it in the landfills. So we partnered with Kilby Dairy Farm. Kilby Dairy Farm became our outdoor classroom, and they let us use their methane digester. The methane digester turns our food waste into compost and clean energy for the farm. And we get great local food like milk and ice cream.
All food waste from WNA's meals go into colorful barrels at the back of our dining hall. Our students and teachers bring our barrels to Kilby Farm to deposit the waste into the methane digester, where it becomes compost and gets converted to electricity to run the farm. Rather than spending money to haul food waste to the landfill where it becomes pollution and methane that perpetuates climate change, we are contributing to the clean energy and fertilizer that becomes our milk and our ice cream.
Anaerobic digestion today is a well-established field. It's been developed over 100 years and it's proven technology. It's widely used in many municipalities for the treatment of wastewater. Increasingly, it's being used for treatment of farm waste and food waste. Some obstacles to the adoption of anaerobic digestion would be competing methods like composting and the lack of requirements for this type of technology. Also, the economic challenge presented by natural gas.
This is what we're talking about, food waste. And that's easy to say, but if you think about it for a minute, we have something that we said a minute ago was food, and for whatever reason, now we've just decided that it's waste. Food production in this country and in North America in general is one of the most energy and resource intensive activities on the planet. If you snap your fingers and tomorrow, all of the fossil fuels that goes into grid energy and gasoline was converted to completely clean, renewable energy, food production would still be the major customer of the petroleum industry.
Food waste placed into the digester produces methane gas and fertilizer. Fertilizer is used to grow food crops. Rather than escaping into the atmosphere, the methane is transformed into green energy for homes, farms, businesses, and communities.
season, this trimester, we're working on, learning about obviously anaerobic digestion, and we've been meeting with a lot of different farmers that are coming up with really creative and brilliant ways of manipulating their own tools to create a way for them to not only help with climate change, but they're also making a business out of it that other people are not thinking about. They're not seeing the possibility. But along the way, we've been filming a lot of what we're doing and creating a documentary about it.
Oh, great.
To show, just the general public.
Are we going to be in a documentary?
You can be you can be a star.
No, I
But, so we want to show, the common person what is going on with their food and where it's going, but also, people in government that can do something about it. So we would definitely like to be able to meet with the full committee and show, bring.
Yeah, we can't. We've got a 90-day session, and I'm now planning public hearings for Fridays, where we usually are going back home to go to work. A lot of us have full-time jobs in addition to being down here, and so I'm giving you my time, but it's just, this is an election year, which means legislators feel the need to put in more bills than they usually do, and we have to give grant a public hearing under the rules of the House to all of them. And I'm running out of calendar already, and it's only February.
What is your ultimate goal, though? Do you want to see legislation, or do you want the state to set up a program?
What is the way, so there's a circle here with 7 million people in it, right? We're looking at our impact on our small, tiny little campus with, 130 kids and, 50 adults, including the staff, teachers and staff. It's a, boarding school, so it's 3 meals a day.
Right.
We're looking at us and how easy this was for us. And is there a way to do something for the state of Maryland on a much bigger scale that partners food and organic waste, and talking about lawn waste and everything else, with these farmers? Helps them to run their digesters, produce energy and fertilizer, and cut everybody's costs. Make a connection between these urban people and understanding of where their food comes from.
Charlotte Davis.
There's just there's no downside to this. And then the meta picture is climate change, because as we demonstrated here, and as you know already,
at 4:30.
Oh, and it's almost 4:30.
Well, I guess the lesson is when you're dealing with the legislature, when groups want to accomplish something, they get a lobbyist.
Yeah, well, I've got another meeting. Unfortunately, listen, I want to thank you for doing this presentation and presenting to me, and to Jim and to Kathy. And it's not exactly the outcome you had hoped for, but there is a way forward, which in life and in politics is a good outcome.
As the sustainability intern and a recent graduate with a strong interest in environmental policy, I think our trip to Annapolis was very reflective of how slow the policymaking process can be. And although policy change is definitely needed, I think it's more valuable to be making these changes at a local and community level, like we're doing at WNA.
Our trip to Annapolis was definitely frustrating. There were a lot of obstacles that were put in our path, such as getting onto their calendar, being told that more studies need to be done, and also being told that we should get a lobbyist. But we really believe that we're our own advocates, and we believe in what we're doing at WNA and know that our program needs to be replicated statewide. Global solid waste is the byproduct of a consumption culture that disposes of materials, organic and non-organic, by sending them to a landfill or other disposal facilities.
Almost half of global solid waste is organic waste.
Policy-wise, I think we need some incentives to do this, to mix food waste and cow manure for digesters, because putting food waste into landfills is not a good policy due to the gas it puts out. So yes, I think there should be some incentives to look at these to make them more effective for on-farm use.
This here's 80% odor reduction.
Like when anything that goes through that digester, like we can spread manure anywhere today and you won't smell it.
So it was mainly for your neighbors to start with?
Well, that's one of the main reasons. The other reason is we use a lot of electric on the farm. Now, if you can take something like cow shit and spin a meter backwards.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like down there at Bill's. Our electric bill is $8,000 to $9,000 a month.
Yeah.
Now you think about eliminating that.
Yeah.
Thanks to our new sustainability initiative and partnership with the Kilby Farm, I'm much more aware and mindful about what I'm taking on my plate, as well as what gets thrown away. And it also makes me very happy that what we do throw in the compost goes back to the farm and comes back to us in milk and ice cream.
By diverting all our food waste and recycling, we were able to get away with to remove one 8-yard dumpster, which is a savings of about $400 a month, and we have plans in the near future at the end of the school year to get rid of another 8-yard trash dumpster. It makes no sense to haul away all that food and recycling material to the dump when we can reinvest that money back into the school.
Since I've been here at West Nottingham Academy, I have learned so much from our students and how important environmental literacy is, because our students have shown me that. It's been fascinating to be here for the last 2 years as we've grown our environmental sustainability program and watch the students define what environmental sustainability and actually environmental literacy really means.
SCC made this movie because we have an amazing program here that works, and we know that if people see what we're doing and replicate it, it can be done on like a widespread basis, not just here in like little West Nottingham Academy. And by going out into the community and sharing what we have is a good way to like tell people that if you have like a small idea, it can become a big like idea with like help from other people.
Community partnership can transform the world.
At WNA, we're all cultures, all kinds of people working together with our local community.
One thing we all have in common is the earth that sustains us.
Our food diversion program at WNA taught me that the action of a small community can make a huge difference.
No matter what our careers are going to be or what we do with our lives, we need to take care of the earth that takes care of us.
We are the future. The responsibility is ours.
WNA's partnership with Kilby Dairy Farm is a model that works. We know because we are doing it. We are closing the loop and converting waste to wealth and clean energy. We can replicate this model everywhere, and we have to, now and for our future.